Hi everybody, it's your old pal Sterling, Big Papa Ball, and we're going to use my good friend James Perez authentic carnitas recipe. We're going to use Chairman's Reserve pork butts, and we're going to show you how it's done in the copper pot. So James, do you have to wear that hat when you cook carnitas?
No, but it's the sun out here. It's pretty bright.
It is, all right. Okay, so what do we start with? We got the copper pot, we got a propane tank.
So we got the copper pot, we got the propane tank. We're gonna fire it up. We're gonna wait for a little bit, maybe like 5-10 minutes. Bring it up to heat to temp, and then
You're gonna use lard, right?
We're gonna use Farmer John's lard.
Okay, now what temperature do you want to see the lard up to before we?
250, 275. Then we'll be cooking it like through 225.
So this is essentially a slow cook using fat, which usually in our culture we French fry things at 340, 380 degrees. This is a cooking in fat at a much lower. This is low and slow fat cooking, right?
Yes, correct. A lot of people, they like to cook it real hot, but the thing that I seen already, that when we cooked it nice and slow, you could save the meat for the next day and it's still tender.
So what we're going to do too is we're going to take some of it and not have it be crispy. It's not all carnitas is crispy, right? But then we're going to take some over on the Big Papa griddle and we're going to crisp up some of it too for those who want it. So we're going to show them how to do it. We're not going to be making any recipe with it. There's enough recipes where you see it, but we will be eating a lot of it to make you jealous. So let's start, James. Oh yeah, I can hear that propane hiss. I really look forward to this. This is such a great thing when James does it, and the copper pot means a lot to it and how it works. Here we got 1 jug of lard. You know in life how they tell you all the things that aren't good for you, and then pretty soon they tell you they're okay? And now all of a sudden saturated fats seem to be not as bad, starting with tallow, but tallow, especially Wagyu, does have some health benefits. But cook it with jugs of lard. We'll get them, James.
But I've seen that Farmer John works the best. But you could use any lard you want to use. We cooked on some of the stainless casos here, these pots, and the thing is that we've seen is that copper somehow is always the best.
Yeah,
flavor-wise and the heat temperature-wise.
Listen, the French know with omelets and stuff, some of the greatest sauces and stuff, and delicate fish are cooked in copper pans. So this kind of makes sense. Copper is really a great way of doing this, and I think it's a little more authentic.
We'll give it like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, bring it up to temp, then we'll put the meat in.
Okay, James, we have the lard at 225, 250. What is it?
We have the lard at 275, 280.
We're not worried about that because when the cold meat hits, it's going to bring the oil down. We will monitor it throughout the cook. Okay, now we're going to take our Chairman's Reserve pork. We've already unpackaged it. We've shrinked it. We've deboned it just for the sake of speed and filming, because we're nothing if not fast. Like these little quarters, James.
Like little quarters of beef.
Is that too big?
Just like this one. That's perfect.
You wouldn't just say that to me, would you? Oh, these are fun. Look at these old chunkers. God, hard to smash through these money muscles like that.
Yeah, sometimes people like putting the bone in there, but I don't see very much difference with the bone in there as flavor-wise. So
I know not, and it's traditional stock or something, yes, but I think in the lard, I think you're correct. The proof's in the taste, though. Okay, now we're gonna do time for Big Papa's Hallelujah. This is a mass seasoning. We're gonna be having a couple things like Mexican Coke, oranges, and a special marinade. So don't want to go too heavy on this, but it's really important we get the salt, the garlic, all the things that's in Hallelujah. And we don't have to do every side, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pat it down once I get it seasoned. And then we're going to immerse them in there. This is going to give it some character that you're really going to like. Be easy and slow in putting the first stuff in. Now it's important when you set this up to make sure that you got the thermostat to control how much fire you have close to you. You don't want it on the other side of the cooker because if you get a flare up or it starts bubbling over, time is of the essence. You also need to be very careful when you do this around children, old people, or people like me that stumble, because it is hot oil and it's very serious. So this is something where please don't do drunk, and please be very cognizant of the fact that 250 degree oil burns. Man, already I see some crust. How long do you think this is going to take, James?
It'll take like 2 hours and a half or 3 hours.
Whew. That's pretty good because it's low. It's really low and slow. All right, we've got the pork that's been seasoned with the hallelujah. When we put it in the pork, the lard was at 275 degrees. Now we put a bunch of cold pork in there, as you can see from the overhead. Now he's going to check it. What are we at now?
165 and climbing 170.
Yeah, so we'll monitor this closely. Now another thing, when you're trying to find the sweet spot of temperature with oil or anything, understand that if we're looking for 250, we're going to stop at about 220 because it's just like a big semi has to break. You have to give it a chance. It's not instant. So you have to anticipate. So this is part of the things when I talk about using your senses in cooking. You got to anticipate that if you wait to get 275, by the time you turn it back down, it's going to be 300, 325. So just watch it and understand that the heat's going to continue to crawl. So you're going to stir it about every 15 minutes, right?
Correct.
And you'll also check the oil temperature to make sure that you're not too hot.
Correct.
Okay, James, we've been going about an hour and 10 minutes, would you say, in the lard?
It's about 2 hours. Like I said, we're looking at temperatures, looking for 170 or 190. We're 185, which is perfect for the ingredients. We're gonna squeeze three oranges. The reason for that is for the acid. This last one, I always like to squeeze it in there. Just let it roll in there.
That's just fabulous. Well, you got the acid and then you got some sweetness too.
And we got,
Because orange does.
it's actually 1 bottle of Coke, but this time we're gonna use 2 small Cokes.
Now, this isn't your Atlanta Coke, your Denver Coke. This is your Mexican Coke, right?
Mexican Coke.
Chef Marito Fajita.
A lot of times when we make these porks, Carnitas, the reason they're all taste very similar. So I'm looking for something different.
Right, you're looking for a pop.
So I like using this one. That's why we go with the ingredients and the measurements and everything else.
8 pounds of lard, 18 pounds of pork, 1 jar of marinade, 3 oranges, BPS, hallelujah. You don't want to put these others in there, just one?
Just one. That's all we need.
No, we need one more. Okay, so how long will you let this simmer for?
About another hour. I like to put them on like at 212. That's the temperature.
That
I like.
just sounds perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit, kids. Okay, everybody, here's what you've been waiting for. James has been going for 2.5 hours, cooking 18 pounds of pork and 8 pounds of lard. Now, I'm going to be going over to my griddle, and I'm going to be crisping up some just for people that want it crisp. For the meantime, we're just going to do this and show you how beautiful it is. Low and slow using lard, Farmer John lard. One thing about cooking them like this, they last a lot longer. 2 days later, they're still super tender. It's really amazing. Oh, hold on. I'll be the judge of this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, I know it's 212 degrees. You can't fake this look of satisfaction. James the Flame and Big Poppa showing you real carnitas in the copper bowl. Don't forget the hallelujah with it. We're going to make tacos. You're going to see that video coming right up.